with you. Gang, everybody across the country, we got probably a couple thousand participants here on this call. I know we have about 30, 40 people up here in Northern California. I know out in Culver City, you got a few hundred people. I know all across the country, there's churches, there's living rooms, there's groups, there's pockets of people who've come together saying we want to do something special. We want to make 2021 not just one of the greatest years of our life, but we want to have this be the soil that we get to go plant in. So the next coming decade of our life is a decade of purpose, a decade of vision. For those of you we've never had the privilege of being introduced yet or not, my name is Andrew Gaines. We make the joke that in business, it's about the gains, not the losses, right? And my better three quarters, Jennifer, she couldn't be here with us today, but she's here with us in spirit, rocking and rolling. And I want to share with you a little bit about my background. I was a college pastor for 7 years, and I loved almost every single second of it, right? We had an absolute blast. I went and got the bachelor's. I went back and got the master's degree, and after a bachelor's and master's and $100,000 of student loan debt, I realized, man, my mom thinks I'm special, but she's the only one, because you got to corporate America, and they start telling you, I'm sorry, you're overqualified. I said, overqualified? You're the ones who told me to go get the degree, and I came back with 2, and now you don't want me? Got it. And so I learned the hard way that just because you go the normal route of life doesn't mean you're going to end up with the dream that's in your heart. And I think for a lot of people, if you share a faith background like I have, or you've grown up in an environment where maybe you've heard some really bizarre things from people who've never had money about people who do have money. Oh, money's the root of all evil. Money can't get you where you want to go. Oh, money's a trap. You would not take retirement advice from a homeless person. If I had never been in a Ferrari and I told you, oh yeah, Ferrari's not that great, you wouldn't listen to me. If I had been, divorced 17 times and I said, well, let me tell you what women are like, you probably wouldn't listen to what I have to say. So too, why do we listen to people talk about money and career who've never had the life that we want and aren't going where we want to go? Why would you ask a blind person to proofread your vision? And so for me, I began to realize there were a lot of people who were around me and I loved them and they were in proximity, but they didn't share my vision. They didn't share my destiny. And I had to, at some point, graduate the relationships that I took advice from. And I said, if I want to go fulfill my life's highest purpose, I've got to realize, and I want you to think about this concept, the dreams that exist in your heart here today. This might be your very first big event. Shoot, you may have come aboard the organization this week. You don't even know what we do fully yet. I'm talking to the brand newest person on the call who's had to deal with the garbage and nonsense of people who don't have a drive to go after what God put inside of them their entire life, and you're still trying to sort out the internal GPS of your life's purpose. And it still says recalculating. Is this really for me, man? Some of these people are fired up and they're excited, and then someone hit the wrong button on the wrong Spotify playlist, and these guys were Christians. What's going on? And you're like confused, or you're thinking about what's going on in your house or your living room or what's going on. Let me give you some clarity. The dream that exists inside your heart, the desire you have in your heart, the visions and the dreams that when you go to bed at night and your head hits the pillow and you think, man, I want to go do something big with my life. I want to come through for my family. And you're wondering, should I really want those things? Should I want the house, the car, the travel? Should I want all this stuff? I want to have you consider a thought, and I'm going to tell you a story here. What if all of the desires that are inside your heart, all of the longings, whether it's for you or for people or for stuff or for things, for experiences, what if all of it wasn't put there on accident? What if God is not a masochist or a sadist who's dangling a carrot in front of you that you shouldn't want or shouldn't have or will never have or could never have? What if everything inside your heart that's dangling, what if it's not a carrot? What if it's a compass? What if it's not showing you something that you shouldn't accomplish? What if it's a compass that's pointing you in the direction of, this is the life you're supposed to go build? You're supposed to go there. I don't think God made the waterfalls of Costa Rica so you'd see them on Instagram. I think he wanted you to go see if you could stand underneath them. I don't think he made manta rays in Bora Bora for you to go see them on National Geographic. I think he actually wants you to go swim in those waters. I think there are experiences in life that you're supposed to experience and things you're supposed to give away. But my topic today, and I'll bring this piece up and I'll share it with you here very briefly, is you've got to come to a point in your life where you realize that you were made for something very, very big, and you get comfortable with that, even if it makes other people uncomfortable. See, I didn't just get into business to make an income. I got into business to make an impact that outlives me. And a lot of times when people get into sales, nothing wrong with sales, but when they get into sales, whether a real estate agent selling a house or selling cars or selling this or that online, it's all about, how do I make the money to go pay my bills? How do I increase my income? And so much of the sales world, nothing wrong with this, is about your income, but it's not about your impact. And what I loved about PHP Agency is I learned sales skills so I could go make a crazy income, but I wanted to go make an immense impact. I think you are as well. Let me tell you a story about a couple farmers. Farmer one, I don't know what we'll call him. Maybe we'll call him Farmer Fred. This guy's gonna look like Fred here in a second, right? Fred in a couple years. So they go buy seed, they go buy land, they till the land, they fertilize the land, they water the land, they plant the seeds, they fill up the seeds, and they start, building some cornfields, right? There's Farmer Fred. And they go all year long, and then they have to go and buy that big tractor thing with the little, like, chunk, and they go get all the corn, right? And then they harvest all the corn, and there it is, Farmer Fred. That's Fred in like 20 years, right? Farmer Fred. And they get the corn, and then they got to go do it all over again the next year. They'll buy a little scarecrow, right? They got to do it every single year. Sell 90% of the corn, keep 10%, replant the field, retail, resow, chunk. Next year, grab the corn, keep 10%, sell 90% profit. Next year, go plant it. If anything happens, they're out of business. If there's a famine, they're out of business. If they're out of water, they're out of business. If something happens and a bunch of locusts come and eat it, they're out of business. This is the life of sales. I didn't want this life. Now let me tell you another story. Let me tell you about a woman. We'll call her Micah, right? Micah, the orchard planter. And so Micah gets out there, and she sees Farmer Fred. She sees Farmer John saying, hey, I'm going to go, grow. And 9 months later, Farmer John's making a lot of money. He just sold his first corn crop. He's making a lot of money. And she's like still, planting her little apple seeds. And Farmer Fred walks over and says, hey, Micah, it's taking you a really long time to catch up. I just made $220,000 selling corn. She's like, it's okay. Don't worry about it. And a couple of years goes by, and she's got these little trees, right? These little nubs. Oh, it's so cute. She gets like 6 apples. He has like, $600,000 from just selling a bunch of corn. But he's back in the field, getting sunburned, broke his leg. He's worried about what's going to happen with his orchard this year. But, a few years goes by, she has an orchard. She's got an orchard. And then something happens to orchard planter Micah. She decides she wants to get out of the orchard game. She wants to go write books. She wants to go build orphanages. She wants to go speak on stage. She wants to empower women and men. She wants to go do something big with her life. She wants to go win a Nobel Peace Prize for doing something. She wants to get into research. She wants to go donate millions of dollars to underserviced communities. And she can do that. Why? Because her orchard keeps producing fruit even when she's not there, like Farmer John has to be every single year, making sure the corn gets planted, the corn gets tilled. This is the difference between the life of a salesperson and the life of a builder. And I got into business because I want to be a builder. See, here's the thing. When you go to the traditional industry and all you're doing is door knocking, shoot, I did that once, 200 doors. It was awful. You go look at someone who's buying leads. If you put $3,000 into buying leads, you're going to walk away with $6,000. And I always ask people this, if the leads are so good, why don't you just sell them yourself? Sometimes people are like, oh, well, I'm going to go online, I'm going to buy some leads. I'm like, if they're so good, you really think they give them away? Do you know how much money we make from a sale? Someone says, oh, well, is there a place where I can just go get like 50 leads? Are you guys just going to give me leads? If there were leads, why would we give them? Listen, the industry isn't missing leads. It's missing leaders. Because this business isn't about you just making an income. It's about you making an everlasting impact that outlives you. Some people say, I'm going to go pay for advertising. Do you know you start doing Google ads, Facebook ads? You can go do all that. But the entry level to get it, if you go talk to any ad agency on social media, it's going to start with $3,000 a month, and you got to do that for 90 days just to get the machine going. And you got to keep doing that. If you want to go to a cold calling shop, my buddy was working at Morgan Stanley. He had to make 500 cold calls a day in a cubicle. I didn't want this life, and I didn't want to be doing it when I was still 72 years old, worrying about the next sale. I got into business with PHP because they had a model where you could go build. And I decided that I didn't want to be a rock that made a splash. Look at me. Look what I'm doing. Look at me. I wanted to be a lake that carries the ripple. And so when I got into the business, I said, man, I want to do something special with my life. And I'm willing to go pour my life into people. I'm willing to go pour my life into people and to be able to, yes, go make an incredible income. You're here before making $100,000. You remember the first time I made $100,000? I remember when I made $52,000 part-time in this business. I remember when my wife and I made 6 figures the first 6 months being full-time. I remember when we made $57,000 in a month for the very first time. I know what it's like to make $100,000 in 2 months, and that used to take me 2 years at a job, but it wasn't because I chased the sale. It was because I poured my life into people. And for you, I will just say all the dreams that are in your heart, they're not going to get fulfilled by you chasing money. When you chase money, money runs away from you. But when you chase purpose, all the resources of money you need to fulfill that vision start chasing you. Guys, this is not about policies. These are about these are lives that have changed. These are people whose the orchard and the experience that affected their life will long outlast mine. But we could go do something together. With that being said, I want you to think about the fact that this is a year of equity ownership. And there's companies out there that are $10 billion plus companies, and PHP has a shot to go be a $100 billion company in the market space. What is the long-term generational impact of your life if you decide at this event, I'm going to go be a builder? I'm going to go get equity. I'm going to build generational wealth. I'm going to build an orchard. I'm going to build people. I'm going to raise up marketing directors. I'm going to go to this MGM event. I'm going to go bring 1,000 people to the MGM event. For you, when we get done with this event, your whole team, we're all going to go get registered for MGM and then Nobility Organization. We plan on getting 1,000 registrations for the next event. We're bringing 1,000 people, not because of just a policy, although it's important, but because we're pouring our life into people. And so my encouragement to you today is, number one, to look into your heart and see what is the biggest, scariest dream you want to go bite off. And like David said, go make your plate bigger. Say yes to all of it. And at the same time, go get prepared to be able to do something special this year in MGM and bring people, because your purpose is found in people, because this is the year of the builder. And you're not here just to plant corn. You're here to go build an orchard. With that being said, Fred, I appreciate the time. I'm going to hand the call back over to you.